You probably wouldn't go to court without your own lawyer. Why would you purchase a home, one of life's biggest financial decisions, without someone protecting you?
Moving forward with the Dekker team. Moving forward together with the Dekker team.
Welcome to Life's Inside Track, episode 756. I'm Yetta Dekker.
And I'm Ken Dekker.
We thank you for connecting with us each week as we have honest conversations to help everyday Canadians build wealth wisely through life and real estate decisions. It's a big deal. Like I'm going to say every day, it feels like every day. Certainly every week we talk to someone. I just did a building inspection a couple of days ago, and the building inspector was a new one to me. And actually, this was the dialogue during the inspection. He likes to go straight to the listing agent. And I didn't get into it with him during the building inspection. He seemed to think he knew a lot about buildings, and so knew a lot about construction. He was also a new home builder as well as a building inspector, which was great. I love that. And he knew us, and he listens to our show all the time. I'd never met him before. And I wanted to have this dialogue that we're having right now with him. Because the core truth is, the question isn't about whether it's a good listing agent. That's not the question. The question is, do they have your back? Are they sitting on your side of the table? Are they protecting you? Do they have your best interest at heart? Those are the four questions. All the same thing.
Yep.
And the answer to that question is a resounding
No.
They better not, because they're already representing the seller.
Yeah. So why is it that people do it? I know some people say, well, the listing agent knows the listing the best.
Correct.
They may know some more information.
They may. And if we're any good at what we do, we'll discover what we need to know, and we'll ask for the disclosures. And
as a buyer representative.
As somebody protecting a buyer's interest.
Yeah.
So that could be one reason. And I guess from that perspective, there's a little value in that. Maybe.
But the fact that anything you say can and will be used against you in the negotiations if you decide to buy the house, because that listing agent is representing the seller. They have what's the word? They have
a obligation.
Yeah.
They have a legal responsibility.
A fiduciary responsibility to the seller.
Okay, explain fiduciary. Because
it just means they're agent. It's like when you hire a lawyer, that lawyer owes you confidentiality. They owe you best practices. They owe you to represent you the best, to protect your interests.
To protect your money.
And all of that is fiduciary responsibility.
But also the money side of it.
Yeah.
They have a responsibility, legal responsibility, to protect the seller's money, which...
Likewise, when you sign a listing with a realtor, that person has a fiduciary responsibility to protect your interests, keep things confidential, and to disclose information they find out about the other person.
All of it.
All of it. And likewise, when you sign a representation agreement with a buyer's agent who's helping you find a property, they owe you confidentiality. They owe you fiduciary responsibility to protect your interests, to get the best terms in a contract for you, to get the property at the lowest price. And not only that, to find properties that maybe aren't listed with that company, maybe that aren't listed at all, that might be a better value for you. That's the fiduciary responsibility they take on.
Of a buyer's agent. Because we're talking about both all of a sudden. So if you're already starting to glaze over and be confused, we apologize, right? I'm going to backtrack a tiny bit. When it comes to the seller side, we talked about all the responsibilities the listing agent has to the seller, which means they're trying to get you, the buyer, that calls them off their listing, meaning whether it's from the sign, whether it's from MLS, whether it's realtor.ca, whether, doesn't matter from where. If you call the listing brokerage and the listing realtor specifically, they are trying to get you to do what? as the buyer, pay the most for the property altogether that they can.
And buy it even if it's not perfect for you.
Right. Help you. Well, that's right. Help you make the decision for that house.
Mm-hmm.
That's part one.
Mm-hmm.
And part two is to help you pay as much as possible for that property. We need to focus here for a minute.
Okay.
Because that's not something people talk about, that piece.
Right.
That piece is left off the table. I did not have that conversation with this building inspector.
Well, maybe have him listen to the show.
Maybe. And he was a great guy, smart guy, informed, educated.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't realize that, I don't know what he didn't realize because I didn't think it was appropriate at the time to have the conversation. And I think we're going to work with him again because he was a great building inspector.
So my question is, why do people choose to go directly to the listing agent when virtually, most properties on the MLS are offering a fee to the selling agent? So the buyer's agent typically gets paid through the transaction. And so there's no direct cost to the buyer.
Correct.
For using their services.
Right. So I think sometimes people think they can negotiate that and basically decrease the agent's income. I think that isn't actually something that happens a whole lot in the industry. It's actually not true, but it sounds like it could be true, right? So it's kind of false news appearing real for the most part. Okay. And then the other part is you're overpaying for the property. Did you actually save anything, even if you were compensated part of the agent's income? Yeah. Like, did it actually work out for you? The reality is a big, resounding no.
So I think it sounds easier, sounds simpler.
It does.
Right? It's one less step. Mm-hmm. They have the thing I want. They have the shiny apple. They have the shiny object, the thing I want. So it seems simpler and efficient and easy to go direct to them.
Well, if you're pretty sure it's the one. But what if? And this is my what if scenario, which is exactly what happened for one of our clients recently that did choose to work with us, that didn't put himself through this duress. But we talked about the potential duress. Yeah. So there's 5 properties you want to see before you make a decision, because that's a big decision. Well, you've got to make 5 scheduled appointments, and maybe the answer is it's 10. And you have to coordinate it 10 times with 10 different people, rather than one agent doing all the work for you.
I guess that would be more efficient and simpler, wouldn't it?
To let one agent do all that work for you, to worry about the logistics of timing. I sometimes have clients when we're looking at property going, when do we have to leave? And that's not your concern. It's not your worry. I'll let you know if we're starting to get too close to the timeline. I have built in as much margin as the seller has allowed. Right? To give you, whether it's a quick look or a long look, to give you as much flexibility. So these are all logistics. If I'm representing a buyer, I'm taking care of behind the scenes. So you as the buyer doesn't have to think about all that nonsense. I'm going to call it nonsense because it's just logistical nightmare.
Yeah.
Even for us, it can be tricky.
Yeah. And the other thing is when you go to all those listings, that agent for that house is trying to sell that property, right?
Just that one.
Just that one. That's the only one they have access to you for. So when you've signed up with a buyer representation, the Dekker team's taking you from house to house, and they're objectively looking at what you've said you would like in a home, what you require in a home, and they're gently guiding you to the best decision you can make. Right. They're not saying this is the one you have to buy. That's not what we're saying.
No, but there is a guiding in place, right? Versus if you're talking to 10 listing agents, they have a sole responsibility. A sole responsibility, and it's not to you. Their sole responsibility is to the seller, and is to get that house sold for as much money as possible with the terms that makes the seller super happy, which means what's included, what's excluded. It means what's the closing date, not taking you, the buyer, into consideration because it's not their responsibility. In fact, it's against their obligation. If they were to do that. Is that not crazy?
Yes, and this would be a great time to mention, if this is kind of confusing and you still don't know whether you should go straight to the listing agent or talk to a buyer's agent, that'd be a great time to sign up for a 15-minute clarity call. And we can talk about your particular interests, your particular situation. And you just got to go to dekkerteam.com, DEKKER team.com, and book a clarity call, 15-minute free consultation call. And we'll figure out what the next best step is for you.
Yeah, like it is I don't think we've ever like gone this intense about this conversation, because for some reason, after 37 years in the industry, it feels more confusing and more daunting and more of a risk today because we feel more educated, we feel smarter, we feel more equipped. So we think, what's the agent going to do for us anyway? Well, if they're any good, the buyer's agent, they're going to be an unbiased person sitting on your side of the table, not across the table, on your side of the table, doing what they can to help you do the best possible in choosing the right home, in choosing the right terms, in choosing the right closing date, and getting it for the best price. Like putting the right conditions in, putting the right terms in, what to take out, when to take it out, why to take it out.
Yeah, I mean, recently I helped somebody look at a property. It was a 4-unit, power of sale, and they'd already seen it with the listing agent. And then they remembered, oh, I know Ken Dekker, I should give him a call. And they called me, and I...
Thankful to them.
Yeah.
For them.
Yeah, thankful to both of us.
True, but...
And so we went and looked at the property a second time. And as we're doing that, it was interesting what he said to me. He said, you know, you're not rushing me. The listing agent was rushing me like he had somewhere to be.
He probably did.
I couldn't really look closely. And this person is a contractor. They built their own homes. They know construction. It's a power of sale. They needed to verify that some things were working, you know, plumbing or the heat pumps and things like that. But no, he didn't have time to turn on a breaker to see if the heat pump was working or that kind of thing, you know? And so he got the time that he needed. We talked about the deficiencies. We talked about how to get the list of deficiencies. And we also talked about how to negotiate with a power of sale.
Because it's a totally different dialogue.
It's different.
And power of sale may sound like a confusing term. The big thing to know is it is being bought as is, where is. It's not, you can't get any warranties from the seller. You can't get any guarantees about what is there or isn't there. So your due diligence is multiplied. That's required. Like, I'm not saying you shouldn't have due diligence on every purchase, even if there's warrants, but there's nobody to come back on if there is
a problem.
Yeah. You can't, because the power of sale company says, hands off, I am here facilitating this as a third party only. Complicates your life even more as a buyer.
Yeah.
So you better have somebody on your side. So I'm thankful for you, yes, Ken, and thankful to our new client that he remembered, hey, this is what Ken does, and Ken will have my back. Because that's ultimately why he called.
Right. Representation is about way more than just opening doors and booking appointments for people.
That's a little piece of it. It's about simplifying it and all of that. But it's really, bottom line, it's about protecting your future. It's your future that matters, not just this moment.
And as we usually say, right? Life is lighter when we navigate it with others. So thanks for joining us on Life's Inside Track. And remember, when we move forward together, we've got this.
Moving forward with the Dekker team. Moving forward together with the Dekker team.